Hello everyone, my name is GD Sharma and you are watching ENGLIT. This is the third part of ongoing MCQ series on the important MCQs and their comprehensive explanation. Through these MCQs, you will get to know various lesser known facts and exam oriented points about 20th century literature. This video is quite helpful for all the aspirants of NTA-NET, TGT, PGT or various other universities entrance exams. So let's start the video. So let me explain the very first question which I asked in the previous video. Which of the following literary groups derived its philosophy from George Edward Moore's Principia Ethica? The philosophy being, by far the most valuable things are the pleasures of human intercourse and the enjoyment of the beautiful objects. It is they that form the rational ultimate end of social progress. So was this group Bloomsbury group, New England group, Barbizon School group or none of the above? And the correct answer is it is Bloomsbury group which derived its philosophy from George Edward Moore's Principia Ethica. Actually, Bloomsbury group is the name of a relatively loose association of like-minded people rather than an organized body of opinions. The writers who were the members of this group, they had like-minded philosophy of life and their opinions. So it was a kind of informal group where the members of the group, they shared the same kind of ideology, same kind of philosophy, same kind of opinions about life and society. And it was centered on 46 Gordon Square, Bloomsbury. This particular building became the home of the artist Vernice Bell and her sister Virginia Woolf, who was the chief exponent of this group. The centered ideology of the group was anti-Victorianism. They had deep interest in arts, and the group as a whole derived its philosophy particularly from George Edward Moore's Principia Ethica, which says that the enjoyment or the aesthetic pleasure is of supreme importance. The pleasures of human intercourse and enjoyment of beautiful objects. That is to say, they had a deeper insight towards aestheticism or aesthetic value, aesthetic pleasure of the inherent objects, which will further lead to the ultimate end of social progress, particularly rational ultimate end of social progress. Until and unless people are devoted to the aesthetic pleasure or aesthetic perspective of the things, the society as a whole cannot progress. This was their basic opinion. Now the question arises, who are the writers that formed this group? So apart from Virginia Woolf, who are the other members of this group? They are first Clive Bell, second Lytton Strachey, third is E.M. Forster, fourth is Geoffrey Keynes, next member Leonard Woolf, David Garnett and Duncan Grant. So these people formed this Bloomsbury group. Clive Bell, E.M. Forster, Lytton Strachey, Geoffrey Keynes, Leonard Woolf, David Garnett and Duncan Grant. These people discussed freely aesthetic and philosophical questions in a spirit of agnosticism, and they were simply strongly influenced by Principia Ethica. Additionally, they were also influenced by Ian Whitehead's and Bertrand Russell's Principia Mathematica. So their sources were Principia Mathematica and Principia Ethica. These two books influenced their ideology and philosophy. And in the light of these influences, they searched for definitions of the good, the true, and the beautiful, and questioned accepted ideas with a comprehensive irreverence for all kinds of show. They wanted to the relevance of the accepted good in the society and what has been regarded or comprehended as a beautiful thing. So they questioned on the very existence of those existing norms in the society, whether it is related to aestheticism or particularly accepted ideas that were prevalent in the society. They wanted to search the hidden reality behind these truths. New England group is a group of writers who arose between 1832 and 1892 in New England, USA. The group included Russell Lowell, H.W. Longfellow, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Nathaniel Hawthorne and William Dean Howells. They had radical eagerness of New England for reforms, and this gave a more confrontative preaching of intelligent good citizenship after Civil War. Later on, these writers changed their ideology. They became rather liberal and also became apostles of plain living and high thinking. So initially they had radicalism. They wanted to bring reforms in social, cultural, political and economic aspect of New England society. Next question. William Butler Yeats' very difficult work, which was partly dictated to his wife by spirits, and in it we have the fullest exposition of his philosophy, is entitled The Cutting of an Agate, Discoveries, a Vision or Ideas of Good and Evil. And the correct answer is it was a vision that was said to have been dictated to his wife by spirits. That's why its name is vision. Means his wife seemed to have had some sort of vision, some sort of dictation by the spirits themselves. This was published privately in 1925 and it is a book length study of various philosophical, astrological, and poetic topics by William Butler Yeats. He wrote this book while he was experimenting with automatic writing with his wife Georgie Hyde-Lees. Georgie Hyde-Lees was his wife. Morgan, with whom his name has been associated many times, was not his wife. She was his sought-after girlfriend and his love for her remained unrequited throughout his life. This book serves as a meditation on the relationship between imagination, history, and the occult. Occult means mythological. The book has been also compared with Eureka, prose poem by Edgar Allan Poe. So Eureka and a vision have something in common. In a packet for Ezra Pound that was published in 1929, William Butler Yeats described how the book's system of 28 historical and cultural phases was communicated to him by spirits through his wife's automatic writing. Louis MacNeice describes this book as a vision must be the most ingenious, the most elaborate, and the most arid of his writings. Next question: Foresightism is a narrative study of class, the British upper middle class, through the doings of a typically large clan within that class. Who said these words about the literary art? Was it John Galsworthy, John Galt, William Butler Yeats? Was it Rudyard Kipling? And the correct answer is it was John Galsworthy, who has been associated with the term Foresightism, and that particularly derived from his saga, the Foresight Saga. Foresight Saga is a series of novels, a kind of epical length of novel series. It was published in 1922. Foresight Saga particularly had three sequences: The Man of Property, In Chancery, and To Let. The Man of Property, In Chancery, To Let. So the novel series Foresight Saga comprises three novels and two interludes, namely Indian Summer of a Foresight and Awakening. So these were the two interludes. The first interlude is between The Man of Property and In Chancery, and the second interlude is between In Chancery and To Let. The sequence chronicles the social, financial, and emotional changes of fortune of the Foresight family. The concept of Foresightism is the passion for accumulating property. A typical Foresight, the member of the clan, member of the family, judges everything by its monetary value. Art is judged by its selling value. Land is valued according to the price of the real estate. So no weak sentiment is introduced when a Foresight is evaluating an object, because he believes that a man must be judged by his investment, so his self-respect is all at stake. So the complete sequence of the novel focuses on how a man rises as a man of property and what are the change of fortune according to or following that whim, following that passion for gaining power, money, particularly money, and how he typifies everything. Even art is evaluated in the terms of money, land is evaluated by the perspective of real estate value, and in short, a man is evaluated in the terms of money. For them, everything is money. Everything is to be considered from the perspective of business. Next question: my task is by the power of written word to make you hear, to make you feel. It is before all to make you see. Who opines about his own art of writing? Was it William Johnson Corey, Alfred Agard Cooper, J.M. Synge, or was it Joseph Conrad? The correct answer is it was Joseph Conrad who had this kind of opinion about his philosophy, about his art particularly. In the preface of The Nigger of Narcissus and The Secret Sharer, Joseph Conrad opined this about his art of writing. The whole passage goes like this: my task which I am trying to achieve is by the power of written word to make you hear, to make you feel. It is before all to make you see. That and no more. And it is everything. If I succeed, you shall find this according to your deserts, encouragements, consolation, fear, charm, all you demand, and perhaps also that glimpse of truth for which you have forgotten to ask. As Joseph Conrad seems to have some distinct art of writing, so he has revealed this kind of thing in many of his novels and essays and articles. In one of the writing, he says, about the role of an artist, that art is long and life is short, and success is very far off. Particularly in the preface of Nigger of Narcissus, he has very carefully described his aesthetic aims. The preface has not only described his mission as a writer, but it became a creed for those who followed in his wake. So the preface is also a watchword for all the writers who are following or who are trying to write in the vein of Joseph Conrad. Next question. He was an anti-romantic whose advocacy of the hard, dry image in poetry influenced imagism. Who was the author? Was he John Drinkwater, John Freeman, T.E. Hume, and Sir John Square? And the correct answer is, it was T.E. Hume who laid the foundation of the imagism, and he advocated hard, dry image, and that also led to the development of imagist poetry or the poetical conception like imagism. Actually, imagists were the group of poets who became prominent immediately before World War I. They were Ezra Pound, Amy Lowell, T.E. Hume, Richard Eldington, and H.D. Hilda Doolittle. All these artists believed that a hard, clear image was essential to verse, and they advocated that poetry should use the language of everyday speech, and poets should have a complete freedom in subject matter. Whatever they feel like talking about or writing about, they should. There should not be any kind of restriction imposed by the society. Of these writers, T.E. Hume influenced the emergence of imagism and its aesthetic and technical characters. These are summed up in a tripartite declaration of the aims formulated. All these writers also contributed to the popularity and emergence of the movement imagism. Like Ezra Pound edited the first anthology Des Imagists in 1914, and Amy Lowell, he published some poems which had characteristics of the movement or their manifesto of imagism. Ezra Pound advocated on the direct treatment of the thing, whether it is subjective or objective. The thing should be treated directly. He felt that a poet should not use absolutely any word that does not contribute to the presentation. And it was Ezra Pound who coined the term imagism in the preface to the complete poetical works of T.E. Hume that started this movement, which focused on the treatment of the object itself. The imagery should be hard, and all the words in the verse should contribute to the end effect, the ultimate effect of the poem. There should not be any unnecessary words used by the poet. Every word should show some kind of image in the minds of the audience, the readers. And now this is the question for you guys. D.H. Lawrence called which of the following novels a thought adventure? So one of his novels is called a thought adventure. Was it Women in Love, Kangaroo, Lady Chatterley's Lover, or was it A Boy in the Bush? You have to tell the answer. So that's all for now. Hopefully this video added something to your existing knowledge of 20th century literature. For any of your queries, you can comment in the description box below. And if you feel this video is worth watching, like it and share it among the deserving candidates who are preparing for various examinations like NTA-NET, TGT or PGT. And if you're watching this video for the first time, so please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So keep learning, stay motivated. Thanks for watching.